3,600 photos later, I can honestly say that I was wrong about this camera. The X100VI is around my neck or over my shoulder every day. I don't have to think twice about whether or not I have enough room for it or if it's gonna get in the way. I just take it everywhere. It's with me so much, it's to the point now where instead of reaching for my phone to take a quick photo, I actually just use the X100VI. I pass it off to other people to take photos of myself and my family. It's very user-friendly, it's quick and easy, and it's the definition of a point and shoot for me. We're all super familiar with the process of taking photos using your phones. They have great cameras, they're quick and easy, you'll be able to capture that moment right away, but then you also run the risk of having your attention diverted by a notification on your phone after taking that photo. And Instagram notification may pop up, or a text message, where you may think, man, let me check this email real quick, and then you're suddenly sucked out of the moment that you were trying to capture. And to be honest, the argument can probably be made about any piece of technology, right? That you're more so concerned about capturing the moment versus being present in it, and that camera can take you out of the moment. But for me personally, the X100VI really kind of strikes a crazy balance. It's the fact that it's super easy and portable. The fact that, it's pretty much on auto. I have it on aperture priority, so I just have the exposure wheel, and I adjust the exposure on the fly. If it's bright out, I turn it down a bit. I have the built-in ND at the press of a button if I need the extra ND. And also my recipes are kind of dialed into the point where I can just take a picture and be confident that I like the colors, and I could transfer it to my phone later on over Bluetooth, or plug it directly in, or take the SD card out and plug it into my device, my iPad, my phone, whatever, and enjoy those moments later on. But the fact that, the autofocus is snappy, the fact that it's small and portable, I just pull it up to my eye, snap the picture, and I'm done with it, and I'm back in my moment, and I'm confident that I got a good photo is reassuring. You get that peace of mind, and also you don't have to worry about being taken out of the moment. You're just worried about documenting it. What have I learned about this camera? Is it worth the hype, right? And it threads a very thin pinhole sewing needle, right? It's crazy that, for one, okay, you have a 40 megapixel sensor in this camera, so resolution is amazing. I never thought that I would be kind of like that pixel peeping kind of guy, but having 40 megapixels at your disposal is very nice for cropping and rearranging, redoing composition, which also makes it easy to just capture the moment quickly and put it away, because I know in post, if I wanted to, I could crop things, I can move it around, I can find a new composition, because I have the resolution to do so. I can go from 40 to 23 and not feel too bad about that, and it'll still be great for sharing through iMessage or social media or wherever. That the resolution is preserved and the detail is there. So 40 megapixels for one on a pocketable, point and shoot camera. Then you have built-in NDs. That's something that a lot of cameras don't have. Even high-end cinema cameras, or cameras that cost way more than this small X100VI, don't have built-in NDs. And I don't use built-in NDs all the time, but when I do need it in these California summers, or when it's bright and hot outside, and you need that extra little bit of tint, the ND built in is nice to get it. I think it's extra 4 stops of ND, so it's not anything crazy, but it's going to help you preserve the highlights in your image. The dynamic range on the sensor is great. I mean, if I wanted to, I could go edit the RAWs and retain a lot of information in the highlights. So yeah, built-in ND, 40 megapixel sensor. Of course, you have the Fujifilm simulations. I've been shooting on the Classic 89, which is a Portra variant that actually started off with Reggie's Portra. And I wanted to tweak the colors a little bit, so I adjusted the shift and boosted the colors. Sometimes I use clarity, sometimes I don't. And I found a recipe that I use pretty religiously, and they're always, adding new ones with these new cameras. There's Reala Ace on the X100VI that honestly I haven't even used, because I love classic chrome, and it's the base of my my go-to recipe, which is Classic 89. So Fujifilm recipes, those are dope. They make it quick and easy for you to get a good JPEG to share it immediately. You don't have to worry about tweaking it too much, or if you do, you may just adjust exposure, maybe add a little clarity. And I also love the fact that you can do all of that on the camera. I don't have to pull up my phone or my tablet or my computer to edit this image. I can actually edit it directly on the camera. And that's something that people aren't talking about enough. The fact that you can edit the images directly on camera after taking the photo. I can add clarity. I can add color chrome effect. I can change the sharpness. I can push and pull the highlights and the shadows. I could change the recipe if I wanted to, all on camera, and it's really quick and really seamless. It's really easy to use, and I use it all of the time. And that's something that I didn't know I would really gravitate to, and that would be a feature that I really enjoy. But being able to edit the images on the camera itself is pretty dope. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers the bases and the reasons as to why I really like this camera. But this camera is not perfect. There are some things that I do not like about this camera. And probably the chief among them is the fact that the buffer times on this are so slow. Like, if you plan on using the internal flash or an external flash, or, you need to have, fast cycles, this is probably not the best bet for you. The buffer time on this is really bad, and it's mostly because they put UHS 1 speeds on the internal read and write speeds on the memory from the camera to the SD card, which is kind of crazy in 2024. That they didn't give a UHS 2 speeds, like V90 speeds, making it, lightning fast. The fact that this has a leaf shutter and you can, go crazy with external flashes and strobes and have high cycle rates with the leaf shutter. It's kind of weird that they didn't give it faster memory. But that's something that I don't always run into. It's not an issue that I always run into because, like I said, I'm just using this to capture moments, quickly. I'm not, burst firing. I've never set the drive mode to like burst on any. I just do a single shot and I'm pretty much in and out. But that is something that I did notice when I attempted to use the internal flash, is that I had to give it a minute after taking the photo to cycle through. And I realized that the read and write speeds on the memory was really slow. So that's something that I wish wasn't an issue, but hey, you can save money on SD cards. You don't have to have the fastest SD card to go in here because it's not going to take advantage of that speed. The other weird gripe about this camera, and it's not a huge issue, it's something that definitely is nitpicky, is the fact that you have to get an adapter to add a filter to this camera. If you guys don't know, you probably do. I have a lot of accessories for this camera. I have a lot of filters. I have the Polar Pro Peter McKinnon 135 series filters with the gold mist, the black mist, the CPL. I have the everyday filter. I have shimmer or glimmer glass. I like filters. I like diffusing light. I like the filmic look it adds, but you have to buy a separate adapter to put a filter on this camera. Like, how hard could it have been to just add the threads to the lens, right? Or to like the little ring that goes around the lens. Like, just have the threads on there. Like, I don't understand. And then also too, adding an adapter kind of takes away from its compact nature. I mean, granted, it's not a lot, it's probably like a half an inch, but still, you do have to add another third party, or even they do sell first party Fujifilm adapters, but they still add a little bit of bulk to it. And I feel like it would have just been easier to just put the threads on there. And then also too, without an adapter and a filter, this camera is not weather sealed. So you need that combination in order to get weather sealing on your camera. And we don't have to deal with weather too much in Southern California, so it's not a big deal for me. But if you're ever in a situation where you get caught in the rain, you're gonna wish you had a filter and an adapter to put on your X100VI. For many of you that don't know, outside of the cameras that I carry around with me every day, like the Fujis and the X Pros, these are my fun cameras. My work cameras are Sony. So I love Sony. I've been shooting Sony for probably 7 years at this point. And while we're on the topic of cameras and Sony and Fuji and all this good stuff, let's talk about this video sponsor, K&F Concept. Now, for me personally, I've probably been using K&F Concept probably since I decided to take photography and video seriously. They make a ton of different products ranging from, bags, tripods, filters, and most importantly, what we're talking about today, the batteries. K&F Concept actually sent me out their 3-slot charger. It also comes with a 3-pack of replacement batteries. Now this charger in particular is going to be for the NP-FC100 batteries that go into your Sony a7 IV, a7 III, a7C, FX3, FX30, all the Sony cameras. But it's worth noting that they sell a ton of batteries even for the X100VI that I actually featured in my accessories video, so they got you covered no matter what camera you have. This 3-slot charger has an LCD screen built in, so that way you can clearly see the charge status of each individual battery. It has dual input charging methods with micro USB and also of course Type-C, which is most important for me. The cool thing about this charger and 3-pack battery combo is the fact that the batteries themselves are 2,280 milliamps, which is the same as the first-party OEM Sony batteries. This is going to allow you to get a similar runtime on them, so that way you don't have to worry about them dying quickly and running through batteries sooner than you should. But at the end of the day, they're batteries. We all need them and they do their job really well. So if you want to check them out for yourself, feel free to hit the link down below in the description. You can find them on Amazon. I'll have all the purchase links down below. But thank you to KNF Content for sponsoring this portion of the video. Now let's get back to the X100VI. And since becoming a father and having a child, you realize how fast time flies. It feels like yesterday my daughter was born and she's about to be 5 years old. And the jumps that they make from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, the physical changes, how tall they get, how their personalities develop, everything. It's crazy how fast things change. And I find myself, scrolling through the library on my phone or looking at the photos that I print out and put on my refrigerator and just reminiscing about those times. And every photo gives me a feeling, and I love it. And also too, it feels as if, back in the day, there was a family historian, right, that would, document the family's travels and preserve those stories and pass them down to the next generation. And it feels kind of like that's what I'm doing. Like I'm preserving the legacy of my family through each photo. And it means more to me in that sense, that these are important moments worth capturing that we're going to cherish for a lifetime, that could be passed down from generation to generation. And for me right now, the X100VI is that tool to document my family's life. You could easily do this with any camera. It doesn't have to be the overhyped, super hard to get X100VI. It could be a Ricoh GR3. It could be anything. It could be the almost 10-year-old Fujifilm X Pro 2. It could be XS20. It could be a Canon something, a Sony this, a Lumix that. Just documenting is very important. And right now, I'm appreciating the X100VI for making that process super easy. The kicker about this camera is that it does so many things in one body. Like, there may be a camera out there that has a high resolution sensor. It's great, it's amazing, but it doesn't have built-in ND. You may have a camera that's very small and pocketable, but you don't have Fujifilm recipes. Like, this camera does a lot of things really well in one small compact package, and I'm probably going to be keeping it for the foreseeable future until something better comes out. But then what's better at this point? I mean, I captured some of my favorite memories on cameras that are almost a decade old. So the new flashy thing isn't what's always important. This video isn't, a video encouraging you to go out and find the X100VI. There's no pressure out there. I want to make that abundantly clear. I don't want to give you guys, gas, gear acquisition syndrome and make you feel like you need this new X100VI. It's not about the camera itself, but it's about how it enables you to shoot better or to take time. And it's deeper than just the new shiny thing. So don't feel pressured to go out and try to pay exorbitant prices for an X100VI or pay these scalpers all this money. Just find a camera that's in your budget, that works for you, that will help you capture moments and memories and document your life, because that's what's most important. But yeah, it's been a pleasure as usual. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get out there and take some photos. Until next time, stay fresh. Peace.